Alright, here we go. Welcome back to Dr. Stone Anime Review, episode number 75. The final video for this review series. Well, pretty much because basically we're going to talk about the final episode ever for Dr. Stone. That being episode 94 for the anime, known as... I forgot to open it up here. Give me just a second here. There you are. Known as Ushers of Exhilarating Future, which cover pages 15 and 19 of chapter 230, along with the entirety of 3132. So I can confirm that, in fact, the female voice for White Man is, in fact, Monica Real. And also, I did make confirmation of another series that I've been curious for the past few years if this was definitely her. That being for Goblin Slayer for the kick the princess. So that is now officially been confirmed. Yes, she's the voice of Princess, and she's the voice of Y Man here, the female voice. So now officially, Monica Real is now up to approximately 57 series now. Yeah, 57. Overall, like, wow. 57. That is awesome. Yes. I personally love the fact that we're now up to 57 series with her in it. Soon we might get to 60. Probably this year. Probably, who knows. But in the case of this final episode, we pick up right where we left off last time, where Senku is talking to Wireman, which is basically the petrification devices. So basically, he offers to negotiate with them, and they can communicate via radio transmission. And then we have this form of a giant head, which is basically Senku's head. And they chat about cooperating with them. And of course, some of them try to petrify Stanley and Gohaku. So Stanley proceeds to have an anti-petrification weapon to basically neutralize some of them. But of course, basically, the rest of them don't have a problem with it because those are people going rogue anyways. So then, of course, basically, then after a while, Y-Man rejects the proposal, and all of them, one petrification device, all leave the Earth solar system, and they're off to a different planet, maybe by more intelligent species. One stays behind. It's a female voice. I don't know who this person is. It's not Jade Saxon, I know that for sure. I have not confirmed exactly of who this is. Of course, think of brings back. It's been 10 years. Yeah, since he basically woke up. I'm trying to see basically if they don't have a. So the male voice is Zahn Kramer. That's who voices them. But that's who voices the single one that stays behind. I don't know who this person is. I've not found who this person is yet. So, and then the three come back to Earth as heroes, where all three, or basically, first they're in Ritsu, we're saying gives them a high five, and then Ritsu, Senku, Stanley, and Kohaku all go back to Earth, and they all receive medals for their basically contribution. And then we jump ahead for years where Sub is mostly advanced. Reesway basically started the Reesway conglomeration, which the main purpose of it is to rebuild the world. Magma, the resident policeman they usually have. I think it was also like the two brothers. I'm trying to think who else was it, because it was like various individuals became police officers in this new world. Yes. Like, they pretty much have it where in the final chapter, okay, so They did mention Nikki, who is basically the big grunt girl. She becomes a student at a new college. Yep, along with Luna, her two bodyguards become basically her stalkers. So, Magma, Mental, which they don't really do anything with him at all. I don't think he appears in the last episode. Not really, no. So, Minami basically still continues her career as, well, a reporter, where she now has like a camera crew. Joe Gear, I think they do mention that Kuznaha, where she and they later basically have where she and Tanjiro do get married, but apparently that, well, like, it's like they have to add some anime original content here for this last episode because basically it's like, yeah, let's have. So Gin is becoming an ambassador, despite the fact he doesn't really want to, but he does. Let's see. Yeah, Yoroha and Tanjiro get married, which of course they have day 2 of this thing. Stanley, Dr. Zeno, and the girl who's a fan of his, she becomes basically his personal test pilot. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Charlotte becomes basically a pilot for him, even wearing the same suit that she wore pretty much prior to this. Yeah, and it looks like she's just a test pilot. And Stanley's on like an airport control, which is kind of interesting, the fact he does that. Francois continues working with Reesway, who's now become basically, like I mentioned, a holding corporation. Hyoga becomes a martial arts instructor with Luna. Tensuka goes around the world, kind of in a way, becoming basically like a vigilante, kind of, where he basically shows up and stops fights. He's like someone who patrols the world by himself. Iriku becomes a corporate executive. Yes, becomes a corporate executive. Post time skip. Let's see. Chrome is still a scientist, though there's also, I think it was with Riri, she's talking to her sister Kohaku about this, where Chrome kind of in a way proposed to her about those two getting married, and, well, that could happen. Potentially. Mm-hmm. And what's Kohaku up to? Kohaku just helping out Yurho, who's now started basically a fashion store, with of course with Ted's sister, who's kind of working, and of course Tanjiro basically handles the physical labor of the store, which not a bad idea for him to do. Of course, he's with basically the woman he loves. Senku is still doing science stuff, and they do mention the Petrification device they brought to Earth, that's been locked someplace safe, and Senku is building a time machine. Yep, building a time machine for reasons. So, okay, so let's see if I can find him here. So, if I can find basically, where's the list here? So, I mentioned those two. So, Kinro, Genro, Magma, Yo, Karasume, Maz, they all become police officers. Mitsuke and Hyuga become instructors with Himura. Maya is, I believe that she is doing, let's see, she is still working with the other guy from the American colony. Suika is still wearing the same outfit that she was before, no change with her. Yeah, it is very interesting how they show what these people were up to post 3-year time skip, which I thought this was really cool. The fact the anime did this because the manga just did not show this at all. What in the world? That was weird. Yeah, the power drift out for some weird reason. So they have all the cake here, and of course, basically, this was an absolute fun episode to see, and of course they have Senku's hammer device that he had, his little club that he got from the first episode, which apparently he's been carrying with him the entire time. for the entire series he's carrying around with him. And now apparently that, well, now he has pretty much basically, now it's in a museum. Yeah. Now it's in a museum with everything else. And of course, everybody's got a nickname for him. Dr. Stone. Yeah. I do appreciate the studio going the anime original route, basically, with this last little bit of the post-time skip stuff. Showing it seems like half the cast like police officers. I thought that was really interesting of an idea. So, and Luna, like, she becomes a student. Magma seems like he became a police officer. Seems like, I remember he was beefy before the time skip. And now apparently he's lost a lot of muscle mass. I thought that was really interesting. But at least basically, like the only one I can definitely say that we don't see what he's doing is Kohaku Riri's father. Like, it's not know what happened to him per se. Of course, this image of the astronauts who kind of started the whole Statistical Village. They're seeing sort of an image, but they're not really doing anything. But this episode was a lot of fun, and that's pretty much the episode in a nutshell. Final thoughts on the entire series. Well, first, the Cour. The Cour itself was absolutely amazing. The studio itself did a fantastic job adapting this one, and yeah, and they only had like 2.5 chapters to adapt to, but like I mentioned, I appreciate the original content here, and of course, it's just by sheer coincidence when the first episode's arc aired, that's when the Artemis rocket went up. Yep, the same exact day. Just by sheer coincidence that it just happened to be like that. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's quite interesting. The fact that they did that. But, and can you believe I started reviewing this series almost 6 years ago, and this is another one that officially has wrapped up. My Hero, well, there's still more left to go for that one, but this is the second anime this year that officially has wrapped up. First being Fire Force, and this one. You probably think, is there any more wrap up this year? As far as I can tell, no. There are seasons wrap up, yes, but series? No, not that I can think of, no. Because the second one this year where they fully have adapted the entire series. I'm like, that's really cool. Yes, we have Ramahab coming later this year, but hopefully that remake does something the original never did. Adapt the entire series and actually finish going through the whole source material. Let's hope they do. But yeah, this series itself, like I mentioned, was a lot of fun. I thoroughly enjoyed this. And yeah. And I can't wait for... Well, as for next episode, there is none. We officially have wrapped up here. Oh yeah, definitely. We officially have wrapped up with this series. So, there is actually an anime coming. Yes. Probably come later today after I finish up Summits in the World for the second time. But next, of course, is going to be Comic Corner. Okay? So, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications. Okay? Thanks, you. Bye.